wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
I'm with the Russ Parsley. I love that. So I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, you were 19.
I was.
And I won't say how old I was, but I was older.
You were 21.
Maybe.
And so you were doing advertising. You've always been doing advertising, but you wear a lot of hats. Tell us about all the different hats you wear.
What decade? Well, when we met, we were working for a print magazine company.
Right.
7 different ag-related print magazines. But before that, I think that was 1999, if memory serves me well. But in 1996, I got into advertising through the back door of a website development company. And in 1996, businesses were saying, what do I need a website for?
Right, that was...
What is a website?
Isn't that funny?
I know. And then they said, well, when I have a website, what do I do with it? And I said, well, you can't just let it sit there. It's like putting a billboard in the middle of the desert. How are you going to get traffic to it? So I've been teaching and preaching the internet since 1996.
And isn't that funny that it all turned to website, everything, all the magazines went into that like shortly after.
And if they didn't, they died.
Right. And then print just became, well, we actually are doing as a thing in the past now, so it's funny.
Magazine what?
Yeah, right. In print?
Yeah, so the end result was I went from digital, which was called the World Wide Web or the Super Information Highway. Those are the slang phrases back in the day. And then I got into internet service provision through Protosource Network. And then you and I stumbled across each other at Western Ag. And then I got back out of print and then into the internet company Brand X Networks, which was the spinoff from Protosource Network. And then I found myself getting into television, and then...
And radio.
Well, interestingly enough, radio started back in 1987. I was serving in the Air Force in Myrtle Beach Air Force Base in South Carolina, and I knocked on the back door of a radio... True story. I knocked on the back door of a radio station, and they didn't answer. So I called them day in, day out for 2 weeks straight, and finally the program director said, "Who are you, and what do you want?" And I said, "I'm nobody, and I want to be a DJ." And he said, "You and everybody else, what makes you special?" I said, "I'm not." I said, "But I know I want to do it." And he said, "I'll tell you what, if you come down to the station on Saturday and sit with me for a couple hours during my shift, will you promise to never, ever call me again?" I said, "Absolutely."
Wow.
So I showed up on that Saturday, Johnny on the spot. His name was Johnny Diaz, by the way. And we had a great conversation. And I looked at the clock and I said, "Is that time right?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to go. I left my wife and my baby at the church bazaar and it was over an hour ago." So they're stranded in the parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
He stood up, I stood up, he held out his hand, he says, "Russ, I look forward to working with you." And I'm like, my jaw just dropped. I said, "What does that mean?" He says, "Go. Come back on Wednesday, we'll talk." But he says, "I look forward to working with you." 1987.
Wow.
Here I am. I'm still dabbling in radio in some way or another, and it's just a lot of fun.
And then you also did like the live DJs, like for parties and stuff. How was that?
Still do. Everything kind of spun off to, I did 3 years of full-time radio. When I got to Fresno.
I remember that actually when you were there.
Yeah, when I got to Fresno in 1990, courtesy of the Air Force, and I didn't go back to the Bay Area where I was born and raised. Fresno was where all of my family and my in-laws' family migrated from the Bay Area to back here. And so I was very fortunate to have a lunch with Al Grosby, the former owner of KNAX, through my father-in-law. He was connected, and so Al Grosby pulls out his brain Rolodex, I call it, right? A napkin and a pen, and he writes down all the names and program directors of the market. And I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "That's everybody you need to call to get a job in radio." I'm like, "Oh, this is gold."
That is, especially because we didn't have the internet back then, so you got...
I know, I didn't have to pull out the white pages or the yellow pages. So I go home, I'm calling every one of these program directors, and they're asking the same thing. Do you have an air check? And I said, "No, I don't have an air check. I do, but it's in cold storage in Nevada. And until I get situated, I can't call my baggage down or my stuff down." So they said, "Well, without a tape. We can't hire you. Finally, you get to the last guy. The last guy was, I love him dearly because he was the one that gave me my shot, was Mark Thomas from 95.7 The Fox. And I said, I know what you're going to ask. Do you have an air check? And I'm going to tell you no, and there's nothing I can do about it. And he says, well, I can't hire you. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to go check back with Al Grosby and see if he'll let me use his studio to cut an air check. And he says, you know Al Grosby? I said, well, I didn't until my father-in-law introduced me, but that's how I got your name and number. And he said, and he'll let you use his studio? And I said, I don't know, I'm going to ask. And he said, no, I'll tell you what, you use my studio. So I went in and I used his studio at the Fox, cut an air check, dropped it in his basket. The very next day he called me up and says, you got a job.
That's a great story, man. I love that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got lucky.
You got lucky.
Right place, right time.
That's really cool. And then how did you get involved with the Castle Air Museum?
Well, you know, being an Air Force veteran, I joined the service in 1982, spent 4 years. My first tour of duty was in England, so I did a little bit of traveling in the world. I went to Turkey, Spain, didn't make it to France, but Scotland. And then after 4 years, came back to the States and landed in Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. And then after a tour of duty there, I got out of active duty, landed in Fresno, saw F-16s flying overhead, and I'm like, where in the world did that come from? Found out that there was an Air National Guard base in Fresno. Who knew? So I joined the Air National Guard base, and I was there from 1990 to 1998, technically 2000, but 98. Knew about Castle Air Museum. It started in 81, as far as I remember, but I really didn't get too much involved with Castle until about 1995, 3 years after I launched. To take that back, it was actually in the same time frame you knew me. In '99, I would go out there and I would host events as Russ Parsley's Total Entertainment of all things.
That's funny.
Yeah, so that was like as I was trying to discover who I was in the mid '90s, and that evolved into Panda DJs in 2002. But going back to Castle Air Museum, I knew of it. But it wasn't until I got into television advertising at KMPH Fox 26, and then eventually left the state and then came back and joined the Nexstar group, KC24 and CBS 47, that I got directly involved with Joe and with the museum. And then Joe had asked me to consider being on the board in 2018, and so I went there for a meeting. They told me everything about the board, what their job was, and I said, you know what, if you guys want me on the board, count me in. So they voted me onto the board in 2019, and I've been on the board ever since.
Love them, but people don't know it's such a passion project. Like it's all privately funded, so everyone's doing this because of their love.
Well, it's privately funded, but it's also publicly funded. If you think about the calls out that we make, both on radio, we're doing social media, just to let the public know that it doesn't happen by mistake, right? It's not taxpayer funded. There's no Air Force funds, there's no military funds, there's no government, federal or state funds. It's all privately funded. And so we do rely on the general public to help us get to the next step. So we're always asking for people to become members. We're always asking for people to consider a generous donation, whether it be a corporate donation, a family donation, or for that matter, if you think of it, you know, we're born to die. So eventually, instead of just leaving all of your worldly possessions to a house that takes care of cats or dogs, or because you don't want to leave it to your kids, consider leaving it, you know, a portion to Castle Air Museum. It's an educational facility. It helps to preserve aviation history for generations to come. So it's a really good cause.
For sure. And so right now, what are you doing at One Putt Entertainment?
It's not entertainment. It's One Putt Broadcasting.
Sorry, One Putt Broadcasting.
Close enough. That's okay. It's 5 radio stations that are very entertaining. One Putt Broadcasting is owned and operated by John and Katie Osland. It's family owned and operated, and it is. I like to say in March of 22, I returned home. Because if you think about it, One Putt Broadcasting owns 95.7 The Fox.
Right.
And that's where I started my full-time radio career, was at The Fox. So I'm one of the original living 95.7 Fox DJs. I have to be careful. I don't know who's dead, but I'm one of the original DJs that started on that station when it went live, and because I was just lucky enough to come to Fresno when it launched, and so that's one of 5 stations. New Rock 104.1. I was in the studio when it flipped switches. It flipped the switch from K104 in a row to New Rock 104.1.
Wow.
So I feel close to that station as well. The company also owns Kino 940, which is America's most powerful oldies radio station. It has the same broadcast reach as KMJ 580, all the way down to Los Angeles County, all the way up to Sacramento and beyond, all the way to Sonoma, and then along the coast of California. It's amazing signal. But I have an affinity to that station because that was in the same building as 95.7 The Fox was when I stepped into that building for the very first time. K-Jewel 99.3 was John Oslin's flagship radio station that launched in 1994. And then the Legend 105.5, Fresno's Classic Country, just went online in July 4th, 2022, just after I joined the group. And it was a need that the market had that John found, and he launched the station, and it's been a rocket ship ever since.
So what do you do there?
So I basically build advertising campaigns for my clients. So from scripting, storyboarding, identifying which station is going to be the best fit for the advertiser based on their target audience. Also, because of my digital background, we also are a full-service digital agency. And then I also have a second hat that I wear for the company, which is our sister division, which is the Fulton Group. So the Fulton Group is John Oslin's full-service ad agency. And when I joined the group, he said, I want you to represent both companies. I want you to have agency clients, and I want you to have radio and digital clients as well.
Does that help? Because, we were saying it's a dying breed, actual magazines. What do you feel about, because we have all these XM radio, all of that sort of thing? Do you ever feel that that's going to happen to these local radio stations, or you don't worry about that?
It's not really a worry, because the thing that the satellite radio has that, or that they don't have that we have, is local. Right? So if you think about it, when you tune into a local radio station, you're getting local news, local sports, local time, temp, weather, local talent, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have that in the XM or the satellite type stations.
Right.
And so the percentage of listenership, or the percentage of time spent listening for the general consumer in our market across the whole U.S. is really less than 1/3 of their time. Okay. Right. The rest of the time, they spend that time, if when they're listening to radio, it's spent listening to local radio.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as One Putt goes, we're kind of like the black sheep of the industry. I love saying that.
How are you guys the black sheep?
Well, because we do things a lot different than the other radio station groups.
I feel like those are all the radio stations I listen to. I don't even know what else.
Yeah.
I know, because
my point exactly.
Well, that's why I'm like, you're not the black sheep. I think you're the popular kids.
Well, popular is one way to put it, but we're kind of the black sheep because we don't do it the same way everybody else does.
So what's different?
The biggest difference is that if you tune in any one of our radio stations, you're only going to be ever faced with 5 minutes of commercial time per hour.
That's not bad.
Now think about that. If you're listening a whole hour and the only thing you hear in an hour is 5 minutes of commercials,
that's not bad at all.
What does that mean to you as a listener? You're probably not going to turn the channel, right? You're not going to hit that button to your next favorite station. Oh, commercial, boop. Right? Yeah. Because you're going to miss your favorite song coming back.
Right.
Because the DJs come, hey, we're going to be back in a minute, right? They don't say don't go anywhere because they know you're not going to, because your next favorite song is going to come on in just 1 minute. At the very end of the time, they're going to say, hey, we said we'd be back in a minute. Here we are. Here's your next favorite song.
That's really cool. That's cool that you guys got it like that.
Well, John Oslin did. He figured it out, and he said, you know what?
Do it.
We got to respect our advertising partners, and we got to respect our listeners. And so by reducing the amount of commercial load in every hour, we're respecting both equally.
Oh, yeah. And if I had a commercial, I'd want to be on that, because I know I'm not going to get thrown in with all the...
Well, it's a dwindling return, right? So the further you are down that list of advertisers, you're getting less and less listenership.
Right.
You're paying the same rate.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Wow, that's so cool. You just do so many things. You need to teach
Sorry.
a class on all these, all the things that you do.
Sorry about that.
And then you're also involved in a local brewery. Tell us about that.
Yeah, my son, I like to say it like this. I'm the father and uncle of the newest award-winning brewery in the marketplace. Veteran-owned, Bulldog proud, award-winning.
I love that.
Yeah, and the company is, I'm also an investor. I'm a small investor. I was lifetime member #1, had to be that. Right? So when they broke out their lifetime memberships, I'm like, got to be #1, right? And then they said, Dad, we need investors. I said, got to be #1. So I signed up for both of those. But they have been, Ryan, my son, Ryan Parsley, he's the founder, CEO.
It looks like you're mini me, by the way.
He's my maxi me, because he towers over me. I'm 5'8", he's 6'1", I think. So yeah, he does. He looks a lot like me, just a younger version, and probably better looking. But he started brewing out of his garage in mid 2018. Literally calls me up and says, Dad, I think I want to brew beer and make it a business. I want to open up a brewery.
What'd you tell him?
I said, you've got a job. You're working at the California Air National Guard, right? Make that your career and retire, and then do that. And he goes, yeah, but by then I would have missed the boat. And he had a point. So I'm like, well, whatever you need, I'm going to back you up 110%. So he starts brewing beer, and he calls me up. He says, Dad, beer's ready. I said, for what? And he says, for you to come out and taste it. I said, okay, I'll be there. So I go there with the full plan of FaceTiming it. And all my associates were saying, Russ, don't do that. If it's bad and you spit it out, that's online forever. And I said, I know my son better than that. He's not gonna taste test anything that's not ready, right? So went to his house, and he did the little measurement thing, showed me, he had that little bobber, and he shows me the alcohol ABV. I think that's it. Sorry, Ryan, if it's not it. And it was like 5.5 or 6.0. And he poured it, had a little bit of a head on it, and I smelled it, and then I tasted it, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. What's it called? And he goes, we haven't given it a name yet. I said, can I name it? And he said, you got a name for it? I said, I sure do. And he goes, what's that? I said, Virgin Surprise.
So that's what it's named?
It was the first time, right out the gate. It was excellent, right? So, Virgin Surprise. Anyways, they changed their name down the road. It was Phoenix Tears Brewing. Had a little bit of a conflict of naming in Pennsylvania and in England. They want to go international someday, so they said, well, we're not going to fight that fight because we're going to lose. We don't have lawyers. We don't have deep pockets. So they changed their name to Reborn Brewing Company, Reborn with an E at the end.
And I like it. I actually like that name better.
It's a great name. and then I was very fortunate to be at the right place, right time with the Fulton Group. We've got a full art department. Ken is an amazing artist, and he took their concept of the logo and just put it on steroids and did an amazing job. And so it's the center point of their name. It's the center point of everything that they have out in the market.
Well, that's awesome. You have just done so much. You really embody doing everything that you could locally, and you're not even from here. That's the funny part.
No, I know. Well, I'm a Fresno transplant.
Oh, now you've lived in Fresno longer than.
Yeah.
So
I'm Fresno by dirt, I guess. I'm gonna die here. So, but it's a good thing. I'm happy about that. Yeah. So born and raised in the Bay Area, Concord, and then all of East Bay and South Bay, and got tired of the life there, trying to work 3 jobs, go to school at San Jose State. I said, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So I signed the dotted line into the Air Force, and then left the country.
And now you get to meet a lot of other transplants. You kind of did it before it was cool. Everyone North started a movie.
Who knew, right? Who knew? I was just this 19-year-old kid that was independent and said, I'm gonna seek my purpose out. And the Air Force really gave me a good training. Couldn't use what I learned in the Air Force on the outside. I was a bomb loader, right? You don't load bombs on TWA or United.
Oh my goodness.
So couldn't use that. But I went back to the Air National Guard here, sent me back to Fort Meade, Maryland in 1998 before you and I met, and sent me to DINFOS, which is Department of Defense Information School in Fort Meade, Maryland. And I went through a 5-month full videography training program.
Wow.
Yep.
Where can we follow you? And if we do, anybody watching that wants you to advertise with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way to reach me is on my cell phone. It's 559-917-6001. Phone, call, or text. I respond right away.
You are good at responding, so yeah.
Yeah, I respond right away, unless I'm sleeping, which is very small hour. You know, I'm on like 4 or 5 hours.
Seriously, the energy and the way you work.
Yeah. So, well, age has done me well. So I still have a lot of energy. I'm going to maximize it. Or, you know, as long as I've got it, I'm going to max it out. But yeah, so cell phone's the best. I've got too many emails to track. I've got a personal website, but oneputtbroadcasting.com. Is the website that is my core focus right now. I've spent 28 years, better part of 28 years, helping small business grow their revenue,
right,
and grow their market awareness and take market share away from their competitors. And I love doing that. I love helping my clients beat their competitors.
Right, for sure. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Oh, you have?
I haven't. I was like, when are we going to interview?
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on my show today.
Of course. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, so tell our viewers who you are and what you do.
So my name is Hannah. I am 20 years old, almost 21. And, you know, I've always had a passion for clothing ever since I was a little girl. It's been like, I don't know, just something about it. It's just always like, it's just made me so happy to just be able to like creatively work and like kind of like watch my own like visions come to life working with like clothing and stuff. So I want to try and make it a career. You know, I would love to. It's probably my biggest dream, and I'm starting out small right now. I sell thrifted clothing. I've done it for almost 2 years now. I started thrifting back in around 2020 during COVID. And when I started then, it kind of just took off from there. Right when I started, I got more into it like online. I would see like TikTok videos, YouTube videos of resellers. And when I found out about that, it instantly piqued my interest, and you know, I thought it was something that I wanted to get into. So I started doing pop-ups around town. I do Art Hop, I've done SenCal Expo, and just other like various pop-ups around town, just kind of like random ones. And I eventually was doing that and eventually got into the fashion community in Fresno. It's definitely, it's amazing. It's amazing the people that Fresno will bring to you and the people that you will have no idea who are literally like in the same spot as you. But I started doing fashion shows. I put together my clothing. I just style outfits according to like a theme of the fashion show or whatnot. And I put it on my models and they walked the runway for me.
Wow, so where was this at?
So I had my first one this year. It was, what was the place called? I forgot what it was called. It was in downtown Fresno.
Okay.
Though. I had that one. It's called the Alley Streetwear Show. Streetwear has always been a love for mine. I feel like streetwear can be like a very vague topic. So I feel like there's lots of different like styles along with streetwear.
So what is streetwear? What's the definition? Everyday clothes?
I'd say definitely what I have on right now is considered streetwear. Let's say like a lot of like baggy clothes, you know, lots of times designer, but me personally, I tend to stay away from designer. That's like the one thing about this whole like fashion, like the whole fashion thing, and like not even just in Fresno, but like just worldwide. The thing that I don't like about fashion is that it's so based off of price nowadays. And I truly think that price has nothing to do with what you are able to put on and make look good. You know?
We're all budgeted these days. You know what I mean? The economy is bad, so we want to find how we can look cute for.
Freaking everyone's on a budget, and you know, prices just keep going up and up and up. I've even noticed it just in the small business community. You know.
And fashion keeps changing as well. So to invest a lot of money, it's like it's good if you get a lot of different things all the time since it's constantly changing.
And that's also why I love thrifting, is because fashion is constantly changing, but I feel like even though it's constantly changing, we are kind of like based off of like our eras back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
Everything is kind of inspired by like the 80s, the 90s.
Everything makes a comeback at some point.
Yes, everything makes a comeback. So that's why I have such a love for thrifting also, is because like, you know, you're always going to find the most timeless pieces, you know? And lots of times I've noticed with today's clothes as well, the quality, terrible. Today's quality is absolutely terrible. You're going to be dropping a bag in order to find the denim that we had back in the 80s to get that now. You're going to be spending freaking hundreds to get some real quality denim. And that's why I love thrifting, is just because
you had some really cool jeans that I saw you loading that day. So is that something that you like really?
I love denim. Denim's one of my favorite things. I love my Levi's, love my Miss Me's. Yeah, I love it. I've found a passion for it, and you know, when I was a little girl, I always knew designing was something I wanted to get into. I was very much a Barbie girl. I had all of the Barbies, all the clothes. I also had an American Girl doll, and I would make my clothes for her. And my grandma, she taught me how to like sew.
I love that.
Create all the little templates in order to make clothes for my doll, and I would like create designs for her and like measure her out, measure all the little clothes. And I definitely think that's kind of like where I like really found my love for it, is like when that happened. Also, I knew I was a fashion girl too, because when I was young, I would always put on my mom and my sister's clothes, go sneak in their closets, put on their heels or their shirts or their dresses.
Yeah, you're like the youngest one, huh? There's a lot of girls. You have a lot of people to steal from.
Yeah, I'm the youngest, but unfortunately, I am the biggest. I'm the big little sister. But
you're the tallest one.
Yes.
Your mom's like very shorter than me, so that's.
I can't fit in their clothes, unfortunately, now, but back in the day, yeah, I could, and I would always just try and pick out outfits with my mom's stuff, and yeah.
So what do you want to do now? You say that you design your own clothes. Right now you're thrifting, so you're selling the stuff that you're finding. So is eventually the goal is to design your own stuff?
Yes, so eventually, so I started out thrifting, and then, you know, I found out the whole thing about resale and like all of that. I also then got into more of upcycling.
So what does that mean?
Upcycling is when you have one base, it's recycling clothing. So you have one piece, you don't really like it, you want to change it up a bit, you see potential in it that maybe you could make something better out of it, you know? And then you do, you know? So just making something better out of something that you already have.
You take something old and make it new.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, so I just bought my sewing machine, so I'm starting to work on that. And I haven't worked with sewing machines since I was a little girl when I was making clothes for my dolls, so it'll definitely be something fun to get into, and I'm really excited for it.
What's the feedback that you're getting? Do a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I like this. Can you find me something like this too?" Do people give you a lot of inspired ideas?
Yeah, I do, especially from my models. Whenever I do like a fashion show, I always tell my models, I'm like, I want you guys to be as comfortable as possible on the runway. So I was like, I want you guys to be able to incorporate some of your own style. And then I also see that, and also like it kind of sparks my interest too, to also see like the way everybody else's mind works in the fashion sense, So yeah.
That's really cool. And then where do you find all these models? You have some cute models you were showing me.
know.
Where do they come from?
So that is it's literally just the whole fashion community throughout Fresno.
You're good at networking, and then you'll see someone and you'll be like, "That's great."
I'm much better at face-to-face marketing than anything. So I met them all face-to-face at modeling calls.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So whoever I'm going through, whoever's putting on the show, will then put on a modeling call. They'll promote it on Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and then the models will eventually come and just show what they have, show their talent. And I'll be there judging them based off of let's see, their style, their walk, how prepared they are. And then I decide if I want them to be one of my models or not.
And then, will you style people if people want to get, so you have such a great style, I would think that people might call you and be like, "Hey, style me."
Yes, so that's what I'm getting into as well.
Okay.
Now with the fashion shows and stuff, I do have people asking me to style them for photo shoots.
Yes. Oh my God.
So
I love that.
I did just style somebody for a photo shoot just this past weekend, and it turned out really great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we can call you for that if we want
Yeah,
help on
of
that.
course. Yes.
And it's great that your logo, so people, if they see stuff that they like online, they can kind of come to you and be like, "Hey, when's your next day that you're going to have all your clothes out?
Yeah.
Or when are you going to do the next fashion?" When
Yeah.
is the next fashion show? Do we have anything dated for that?
Right now, I have an event coming up on November 30th. It's called Mujeres Market. It's going to be in Campus Point. That's like the little Fresno State area where Maya Cinemas is at. That's just going to be a pop-up, no fashion show, but the next fashion show should be coming up pretty soon.
Oh, okay. So November, what day is that?
I think it might be a Saturday.
Okay, so and it's going to be a pop-up. Would you know the time-ish? So we can...
I believe 6. I believe it starts at 6.
Okay, so you're going to be there and you're going to have all the stuff that you have.
Yeah, I'm going to be selling all of my merchandise.
So it's a lot of clothes. I asked about belly rings. Do you do jewelry as well, or all clothes?
I do.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Actually, my bracelets that I have on right now,
And I love those gloves. I love all of it.
Thank you. I'm very much an accessory girl, and I love thrifting my jewelry. I thrifted my necklace as well.
I love that.
So they're actually from a yard sale. So I get my stuff from all kinds of different places. Some stuff will be given to me. I'll get it at yard sales, estate sales, thrift stores.
You do everything
flea
except
markets.
shoes, huh?
No, I also do shoes. I sell everything. Clothes,
Really?
Shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Hats, pants.
That's so much work, girl, because you have to tote all that stuff. I mean, I saw you you're really working hard.
Yeah. So at first I was just doing everything completely by hand, making all my tags, hole punching them, cutting them,
my goodness.
tying them onto each piece of clothing. It was a lot of work, but now I have a new system, and it's a lot faster.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a lot faster now, thankfully, because it is a lot of patience and work to, individually itemize everything.
And you have to figure out what you sell everything for. Is that kind of based on what you see around, because you are in the fashion community, so you kind of see what things are going for?
Yeah, it's based off of trend, whatever is selling the most at that time, also based off of seasons, the winter, summer, fall, spring, Obviously, if it's summer, not too many people are going to want to be buying jackets, but somebody might. So I could put it out there for cheaper than I would in the winter, But yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so where can we follow you online?
I'm on Instagram at 444galore. That's where I'm at right now. I do eventually want to make my own website, but we'll get to that.
Well, so the only problem is if we see something we like on something that you're posting, everything's kind of a one-time shot. You don't really have any duplicates. So
Nope.
if we say we like something, do you try to make a duplicate or find us something similar?
I probably could, now that I'm gonna like start creating
Okay.
my own pieces. I definitely think I could make that happen. It's crazy to me because like it is like everything you see is gonna be like one time
Right.
thing. But now that I've like been thrifting and doing this for quite a while now, I sometimes will see some of the exact items that I like already have. Like this jacket, I've probably thrifted. It's crazy. I've probably thrifted 3 of these same exact jackets.
That's a nice jacket.
Yeah, but all at different times, and they're all different sizes. So.
And then what do you think about the guys' clothes, girls wearing guys' clothes? That's something you incorporate too?
Yeah, I also have girls wearing guys stuff. You know, I love it. I love
It's more
it
comfy
all.
that way, huh? Sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like a size. I think my waist is like between a 29 and a 30, and I'm wearing size 34 jeans right now. And they're men's.
Oh, that's no way, really?
Yeah, these are men's jeans, size 34. They're a lot bigger.
And I
than
like
my
the
size.
socks. Look really freaking
Thank
comfy.
you.
Those are my kind of socks.
These are my leg warmers.
Do you sell those too, as well? Socks
These
like that?
I do not, no. But yeah, that's something that I love incorporating into my outfits too. Accessories and all of that. I love it. I feel like it can really like elevate looks. I saw this thing on TikTok. It's called a 7-point outfit. And it's like every accessory that you add to your outfit is a point. And 7 points is like the max amount. So once you reach 7 points, your outfit is like valid.
Oh
you
my
know?
goodness. I need to do that.
Yeah, so I'm very much an accessory girl, so I've been putting that in my head sometimes when I get ready. So it's like gloves, that would be a point. Jewelry, that would be a point. Leg warmers, that'll be a point. I got my jackets, that'll be a point.
And what about the gloves? I really love those. Are you
These?
selling some of those? I know you
No,
sell some of
I
those.
don't. I actually
Girl,
just found a love. I just found a love for gloves, actually, just in October, because I wanted to wear them for Halloween, and then I'm like, I should start wearing these more often.
I really love them.
Yeah, I really like them. I like the fingerless too, because then I can wear my rings. Because I love rings.
Yeah, I love
I feel
that,
like
too.
anybody who has rings is just like so cool. You're so cool if you have a bunch of rings. So I always keep my rings on.
So we could go to your online where you have, you know, on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, and you don't have the website up yet. What about like gift certificates? Someone's seeing this and like, you know, Christmas is coming up. Do you offer that?
I actually don't. I never thought about that, but that would actually be a very good possibility.
Or even for like a styling, I think there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I just know a lot of people. They just don't know what to wear. They don't know. They just get confused. So like, if
Yeah.
they could pay you for an afternoon to go to their house and say, put this together, this together. Because like you're one of those people. You have an eye for everything. You're like people have the ingredients and they don't know
Yeah.
how to make up, you know, the meal. So it's like that could be something too for the gift certificate where they can come in. You can go. And I
Yeah.
don't know what you charge for stuff like that, but
100%. Right now, since I'm trying to work my way up still, slowly but surely, you know, it's working, but people will reach out to me and ask them to style them, but as far as right now, I'm not charging because I would like to get as much exposure as I can possible right now, you know.
well, girl, I mean, I hope they're at least buying the outfits because.
Oh yes, my models do buy my outfits.
Okay,
from
so
me.
yeah, because I was like, you should be getting something else.
No, I don't give them the clothing. They wear it. They wear it to their event or their photo
So you'll,
shoot.
but
and
you
then
will go
bring it
to
back.
someone if they went for the if they do like a photo shoot, like you said, and you style them, or you can go in their house and kind of show them how to put things together.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh, this has been great. So to personally get a hold of you is through the Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of you.
Yep. Also, I have business cards. I don't have them with me right now, but my business cards have my phone number on them as well because I respond either way.
Well, okay, perfect. So Instagram is the best way. What is it? It's
444 galore.
444 galore, and it rhymes. I love that
Yeah,
name.
I know. I was thinking of possibly changing the name. I made the name like quite a while back when I knew I wanted to do this. And back then I was very into like the whole like angel numbers and stuff. But you know, that was the name that popped into my head when I wanted to do it, and ever since then it's just kind of stuck. And like whenever somebody sees me, they're like 444 galore.
I love that.
Yeah, so I was contemplating changing it, but it has a
I
ring
don't
to
think
it.
so. I really like
yeah,
it.
it has a ring to it, and everybody likes it. So I'm like, it was what it started with. So I'm like, it's what should stay.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
and hopefully
of course. Thank
one
you so
day
much for having me.
you can style me. That'll be great.
Oh
Next
my God,
photo
I would
shoot.
love to.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Doug, I'm so glad to finally have you on my show. I've been wanting you for so long. Tell our viewers about what you do.
Yeah, first, before we do that, though, Spark, I got to just tell you, sincerely, I'm so happy to be here. And then when Herschel said it, it's a privilege to be here.
Oh, thank you.
I sit there and watch you and Russell. I said, man, my God, you make the people feel right at home. I feel right at home. And what I do is I'm self-financing. I'm self-developing an apartment complex. I'm spending my money, and me and the guys was over there. I rushed home and shaved to make sure that I look nice for Spark.
You look great.
I love you. And also I created a podcast, the Doug Bess Show on YouTube. And so what's the Doug Bess Show? It's a podcast for the people. I'm not trying to make no money, but I want the podcast to grow. I want it to be something similar to The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, and we talk about real life issues. We had a prostitute on there. We had people on there. Yesterday, a guy, Johnny Nillum, he ran the recreation department for years, and he was the head of the NAACP. We didn't have people on there from the bank. We had people on there from this. We had Nick Richardson. He's running for city council, District 6. Had another young lady on there named Jalen Swank. She's running for city council, District 3. And, it's just a show for the people. And I just want to give back to the community. And earlier you were saying, what's the dirt on them? So, we talking right now. And then what I want to do is, God's been good to me. The city of Fresno's been good to me before, I lived a life in the street, but I made a bunch of money. And I know you ain't supposed to talk about it.
Was it here? Was it in Fresno?
It's in Fresno. Yeah, so I made a bunch of money, and I got a successful tax office, very successful tax office. My office would be like McDonald's. There'd be so many people, and at the end of the tax season, we'd be ready to get out the country for a couple of months, and we do. We travel all over the world. We were in Italy, Rome, Italy. And we were at the Vatican. 3 blocks from the Vatican, it's a homeless encampment. I couldn't believe it. And you were in Paris, France. We waited for 5 or 6 hours to go into the Louvre. I know you travel a lot. And I said, man, I got to see the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa looks like Sparkle. Yeah, but Sparkle and everybody out there. So we waited in line for all those hours. The Mona Lisa is just a little small.
It's so
oh
small.
My God. Oh yeah. Yeah. So Sparkle, that's it. And I'm happy that you allow me to be on your show. And I watch you, and I'm going to incorporate some of the stuff that I see you do to make the Doug Bess Show more professional.
So I've seen your show, and what I wanted to ask you, all I've ever seen are local people. Do you also ever interview people outside of that, or outside of local?
Yeah, I will, but what happens is I bought all the equipment. I had the guy, Cal, from here come down there and set it up.
Nice.
I had somebody from the Guitar Center to come in and do something. They didn't know what they was doing. I paid them. Then I had somebody else from Fresno State come in. Finally, I came here, and I had Cal. You know Cal?
Yeah,
Cal
that's great.
was
That's so cool.
absolute best. Straight shooter. He's not no BS artist. Told me, I said, whatever we need, we buy it. He came and he set everything up. So we did 16 podcasts so far. And then, the reason why the podcast is not growing as fast as it probably could, because most of my time is spent on that apartment complex over there. We about 80, 90% dead. And absolutely we would encourage people from outside the metropolitan area to come be on the show. Yeah.
It always just takes time. It's word of mouth, and it grows. That's really cool. And so your tax season's your busy time. So what do you do with the taxes? When is a good time that we should come to you?
Yeah, so what happened is I've been in the tax business for 11, this will be my 11th year. And I got like a built-in base of people that comes, about 1,000 people. And so when I get there in the morning, I got a line of people. And me and my senorita, and I got 3 people that works for me. I usually get out of the office about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
That's a lot of people. And so what happens is when you got the EFIN license, that's what they call it. When you're an ERO, you got the ability to pass out checks. So usually I just let the people do the data entry, but all the technical stuff, I guard it. Yeah, you could say that, I might have a trust issue, but people might try anything because you got access with the banking. You got
Right.
access to millions of dollars where you can actually go in there and you could do something that you shouldn't do. Yeah.
So how long have you had that going on?
11 years.
11 years, and then you started, and that was always in Fresno too. Oh, wow. You're a busy man.
Yeah, I'm a busy man, but so what happened, I stay busy so I don't get involved in no mischief. Did I say that right? Yeah, I just
So
wanna-
what made you decide to do this, tackle this apartment complex? How did that come about?
When I got over there, previously to that, I had a successful tree trimming business. That's what my dad did for 47 years. And me and my brothers did it over there. So we got like about 3/4 of an acre. And we subdivided it. And I had like about 12, 13 trucks over there. And finally I said, I don't want to do it no more. And so I got rid of it. I almost just gave them away to Mr. Turner, Jerry Turner. He got Turner's Auto Wrecking out there. And we were in Mexico and we were thinking about building a house over there. But when we came back, she decided she didn't want to do it. I said, you know what? We'll just build a complex over here. So it's 2 3-bedroom units.
Okay.
It's called a accessory dwelling unit. Is the reason why you could add it. And then we got 2 1-bedroom units. So it's 4 units. It requires a lot of attention because what happens though, those sparkles, you could have, we done went through 68 people and you got that many people over there. All of them aren't subcontractors, and I'm trying to say it correctly. Sometimes we might have some southern gentlemen from Mexico. I got to say it like that so it sounds nice. And sometimes the people don't necessarily do what they're supposed to do, and you gotta stay there. When I got to sit there and babysit you, I can't do my job. But we got to make sure that everything follows all the codes and all the inspections pass. But I'm enjoying it.
Wow, that was something to tackle on.
Yes, it's.
So do you have tenants in each of the places?
No, at this point
Not
right
yet.
now, but we got about 11 houses that renters.
Okay.
Yeah, but for these units right here, they're not completed yet.
Yeah, you're still in that phase of making everything getting it all nice.
Yeah, completely having their words. It's ready to move in. We're not there just yet. But I got about 10, 11 houses where, I got tenants in there already. And usually what we do, we usually just get the tenants from Central Valley Residential Center. And what they have, you could have a mental disposition, a disability, or physical disability. And what happens, you might get SSA, SSI or something. And our money comes directly from a paid company. So you don't have to go in there and argue with the tenants.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Sparkles, I enjoyed being busy. And so I don't know if I say having a podcast is that my hobby or my passion, but I figure, in 4 years, and then you correct me if I'm wrong, in 4 years, if I got 100,000 subscribers and 200,000 or 300,000 followers, I don't see no reason why though. I see Joe Rogan, and I'm getting too relaxed now. I see Joe Rogan and I see Shannon Sharp and I see Stephen A. Smith, and I look at these cats, these guys, these gentlemen. I don't see them as being no smarter than me. And I look at you and then I see Oprah. I don't see Oprah being no smarter than you. Surely not as beautiful.
No.
It's true. And then so, well, what sets us apart is exposure. That's the only thing that I can see. And then naturally, they got a team of people that's making everything the way it is. Like you got the gentleman back there in the production room. All that'll come from me. And then, get an opportunity to be on your show and have you to come on my show. We see her show, we see different people, we see Russ, we see all these different people, and then we just integrate them into my show, and then it'll just grow. And the most important thing is the show. My show is the show for the people. It's the show for the people, you know. And every time somebody be on there, I want to just add value to the people's life. And you know, so with a podcast, you make money 3 or 4 ways. You get a little money from the social media platforms, a little. Or you selling merchandise, sparkles, beautiful clothes. I'm sure you probably sell them. Or you get a sponsor or something like that. But that's later down the road. Right now, all I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to build it. And by being on your show, it gives me a broader audience for me to talk about it. Do you see it like that, though, Sparkle?
Oh, for sure. I was wondering, so what kind of people do you want to interview? Like, what's kind of your dream here? Of like, if you could interview a certain type of person, that would be your ultimate interview.
To be honest with you, though, Sparkle, so what happens is I'm not starstruck. I've been around beautiful women all my life, and I didn't have some money for a long time. I don't know if she should talk about that. So I'm not, if it would be beautiful, they got some guy too short and sugar-free. They're supposed to be coming to the convention center. But somebody told me the other day, you got to pay them. I'm not paying nobody to come on my show.
Oh, I won't either.
I'm not going to do it. But you know, I know in order for the show to grow, you need those stars. But I figured just in time, you know, through just the laws of evolution, that, you know, progression, they're going to come.
Right.
That's how I said it. Am I looking at it wrong or not?
Oh, no, that's great. But I was just wondering if there was a certain type of person that you're really excited to interview at some point. Like I said, Nick Richardson. I enjoy interviewing a lot of the political people because I'd like to see what they're going to do. So those are interviews I enjoy, and I just wondered what kind of interviews you enjoy.
Yeah, the ones that I enjoy the most, the down-to-earth people. Yesterday, I was in the hood, and you're not from the West Side, but we over there on Martin Luther King's, call it Fig and Sampson, and it's like rough and tough over there. But my son was saying, Dad, you outside? Of course I'm outside. I like interviewing the people that, you know, that just down to earth, and I could just feel the passion from them. And then when we doing the interview, the people could feel it too. Those are the kind of people that I like interviewing. And then also, you know, I got to make sure in order for the show to grow, I got to go down there and try to get the mayor. Not try. I'm going to get him to come to the show. And then somebody like you, Sparkle, it would be a dream for you to come on the show. Would you come on the show?
Of course I will.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if I necessarily feel no special kind of way if we got an entertainer or we got a politician or something. I feel most comfortable with the people. I'm a people person.
Right.
Well,
that's good.
Somebody told me yesterday about, man, you can't be too exuberant. I don't know if I could. I'm making sure that my personality is kind of just cool, calm, and collect. But really, I'm hyper. I am.
Well, I'm glad you do a lot of things. You wear a lot of hats, so you kind of have to have that energy.
Yeah, I think so too. What about you, though, Sparkle? Who you like interviewing most?
Like
the politicians?
Yeah, I do because I like to hear what their platforms are and really get into it. And they're great at interviewing. You know, they don't ask me this or that. They come here to like really, you know, it's free game. You can ask them anything. So I enjoy that. But I've interviewed, you know, some people that I think the best ones too are when they teach you something. I've had people with, somebody with EB. It's a very rare disease I had never heard of before.
Yeah.
So there's just different things where you're like, wow, I never knew that. I think those are the best interviews sometimes.
What's EB though?
I can't say the actual full name. It's like some like 25-letter thing, but it's basically it's called the butterfly disease, where her skin's like paper thin, and just one cut will put her into a tailspin. So she has to be wrapped in bandages every day. Her sister had that and passed away. It's very rare, and it's like she can actually hurt herself, so she can't really touch anything, and she lives like that. And it's like, but she tries to be as normal as possible and have a normal life. So it's really interesting to hear that and see, you know, somebody just have such a great attitude that has such a huge challenge. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, so Sparkle, so this is just a little sidebar, and I know we got to cut it short. So this, when you doing the podcast, do you get some kind of like endorphins jumping around in you? When I do the podcast in my studio, I get the endorphins.
Right.
Do you get those?
Oh yeah, you have to love
Not
it.
nervous, not nervous endorphin. I'm
No,
talking
it's exciting.
about- Yeah.
I could tell you have a passion for it. So yeah, I can't wait. I like your episode so far. I can't wait to be a part of it. And yeah.
Okay. I love you for that.
Thank you so much
Oh,
for
my hands
coming
are
on my
rough. I
show
forgot
today.
to take-
Oh no, you're perfect. I rock climb, so we're good. It was really good to meet you, and thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Yeah, Sparkle, and I love you for that, for just inviting me, and you make it look flawless. It's beautiful, and plus you're beautiful.
Tell all our viewers where they need to follow you at.
Hey guys out there, I'm Doug Bess, and you guys can follow me on Instagram, or you could follow me on Facebook, we on TikTok, but I got to be honest with everybody. My kids, them is way more advanced than me. They say never say this. With this technological stuff, I'm okay. But you could go to YouTube, type in the Doug Bess Show and subscribe. I think we probably got about 500 people or so right now. And the reason why we don't have more is because it's like time on task. Go to YouTube, type in the Doug Bess Show and just follow me. And I'm just the promise I'm making to everybody. If I don't feel it, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gotta do it for the money. This is for the people, and it's sincere.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.
That was a scene this morning at around 11 a.m. when a man caused a violent fight at the cash register here at George's Cafe. Witnesses say he wanted breakfast and the cashier wouldn't give it to him.
What the fuck happened here?
This crazy guy came in and he just started stabbing people with a fork. You some crazy bastard killed your brother, killed Kevin?
Holy shit, I can't believe you shot that guy.
Want to make some money with the destroyers?
You're lucky I wasn't there. I just shot his dick off.
I need to know where this guy is. I need to know where he works. I need to know where he'd hide.
Your man here is trying to rob Kathy May's cafe.
I'm not telling you shit. Little frosty tips. You do that to match your vagina?
As soon as we enter the door, we should have our masks on. It's broad daylight.
So we're not going to Disneyland then.
And this is about pancakes. Like, the pancakes are good here, but they're not that good.
I'm thinking you be Mr. Martin Crony.
Boys, go back inside now.
I'm in search of someone that fancies himself a shootist.
What you need a gun hand for?
Gotta find someone, settle a score. Please let Mary still be alive.
What is the matter?
They're coming. The men that killed my family.
We had a specific plan to follow.
White came looking for Everett. He can track like nobody else can.
If I do this, I will do it for her.
Where is she? Dear Father God, I come to you with anger and revenge in my heart. I know that vengeance is yours. I ask that you allow me to be the vessel of that vengeance.